Hello there lovely people, Alex from Nintendo Life here as usual, and today is the launch of the new 3DS, which is big news as I'm sure you're aware. In order to celebrate the console's release, we're going to be having a really good look at some of the games that really benefit from being played on the new 3DS that you may or may not already have. First up is The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D, which I'm just going to refer to as Majora's Mask for the sake of ease. The new 3DS comes with a new stick called the C-Stick, which is like a little nubbin that you can use, and it works like a second circle pad, and it is brilliant in Majora's Mask 3D, because finally we can really have a good look around the world of Termina in a way that we just couldn't in the previous version. Honestly, looking around Termina brings back so many memories, and seeing it from all the different angles, it really breathes some real life into the game, which sounds mad, but trust me, it's true. It's just so nice to be able to do, and I'm so glad they included the option to do that. Also, the Super Stable 3D doesn't look any better than in this game. It really doesn't. It is just so bright and colourful, it pops out at you. It's non-invasive though, it's just engrossing, and you really feel like you're in the world of Termina, and it's just outstanding in every sense. Moving on, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. Yes, it had to happen, it's one of my favourite series and nobody's going to tell me otherwise. This game really does benefit in a similar way to Majora's Mask, only it's much more integral to the actual gameplay. You've got to keep an eye on that monster, and yeah, you can use the L targeting system, but it's not quite the same. You don't get the same freedom. The camera swings round if you don't know where it is, and it can throw you off. So what you really want is you want to be able to pan and look around as much as possible, and there's an on-screen one, but it's pretty poor, to be honest. You really want to be using that C-Stick. This in turn makes the ranged weapons considerably more viable, because it can be really difficult to get a properly good aim on things without that second little circle nubbin thing. I'm a big fan of the ranged weapons, and I've tried playing it without, and it is just not fun. It really isn't. Of course you can use a Circle Pad Pro to do all this, but it's really not the same experience. It does feel like you've got the great big chunky peripheral around, which you do, literally, and it does kind of detract from it. It's quite difficult to describe. You really need to get your hands on it and give it a really good feel before you can really see what it is I'm trying to explain. It's tricky. Not only that, but you don't get the better frame rate, so sold, aren't you? Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS. Yes! One of the biggest things that people talk about, particularly with the GameCube controller and Melee, is the ability to use the C-Stick on the GameCube controller to use a smash attack really quickly. It doesn't involve any sort of... It's pressing a button and a direction is just not as simple as pressing a direction. It's really quick, really easy to do, and gives you that lightning fast reaction that sometimes you really need. And you can do that with the C-Stick on the new 3DS. You honestly feel like you've got a significant advantage against anybody who's stuck using the original 3DS, because they don't have access to that, and it really does make a big difference. And again, it sounds minimal, but you really have to get your hands on it to realise just how simple it is. Or indeed, if you've played the Wii U version, you'll know what I'm talking about. Speaking of the Wii U version, if you like using your 3DS as a controller, if you use a new 3DS, you get those additional buttons. You get the C-Stick, you get the shoulder buttons as well, which just do the same thing as the L and R buttons, but it's nice to have. But the C-Stick, oh, I can't describe how useful it is. And you can use it on the Wii U. Adding to the plethora of reasons we've already got, you can of course use Amiibo on the new 3DS right now, and you can use them and you can get the figure players like you can in the Wii U version. It's absolutely brilliant, and I'm so pleased they implemented it, because I really didn't know whether they would. There are some games of course where the new 3DS is almost a necessity, or is actually a necessity. For example, you've got Ironfall, which is a game that has just come out on the 3DS. You can download it on the eShop, and it's a third-person shooter, a bit like Gears of War, if that gives you a rough idea. And if you've ever played a shooter game before, third or first person, you'll know that it's almost impossible to play it without a second analog stick, particularly by today's standards. Yeah, GoldenEye only used a single analog stick, and we were happy back then, but compared to modern standards, trying to play it now, it's a bit of a mess. And if you want to get your hands on XENOBLADE Chronicles 3D, which you should. You just should. It's so good. If it's the original XENOBLADE Chronicles, I've played it, I've loved it. Whoa! If you want to play that, you're going to have to get a new 3DS. It's simply not compatible with the original, because it requires the additional processing power in the new 3DS. And the fact that they're managing to port a Wii game to the 3DS, well, new 3DS, that's astonishing. So yeah, I'm not surprised it requires the new hardware. And that's not it. You've got Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, you've got Resident Evil, you've got Metal Gear Solid. All of these utilise the Circle Pad Pro and will work seamlessly with the new 3DS. Do you need any more convincing? If you do need some more convincing, we'll be giving you some more reasons, I'm sure, in the future. So flick the ear of that subscribe button, and be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.